Hello and welcome to the 49ers First and 10 podcast presented by Cisco. 10 minutes of the most up-to-date 49ers news first thing in the morning. I'm your host, Breon McDonald, and joining me is 49ers team reporter Lindsay Pilares. The 49ers fell to the Rams 27-24 on Sunday. It was a tough loss for the team. It came down to a very close game and a field goal deciding the winner. Lindsay, what went wrong for the Niners in week 3?
Yeah, Bree. So the Niners were very much in the driver's seat for most of this game. And I think really the difference between winning and losing in this one were some special teams errors and then some costly penalties. We always talk about the turnover battle being significant. Rams didn't turn over the ball at all, while the 49ers had one turnover. Um, just a lot of, I think, execution errors more than anything down the stretch. Like I mentioned, 49ers racked up over 100 yards in penalties, and then quite a few of those came in the final minutes of this game that allowed the Rams to jump back in it. And so it was a little bit of everything that didn't work out in the end. But I think the positives we can take from this game is that the 49ers were missing some of their biggest offensive playmakers, and then we're still able to run a productive and efficient offense. And like you mentioned, this one quite literally came down to those final seconds. So I think for this one, it's just about cleaning things up, tightening things up headed into week 4, making sure that they're not giving up explosive plays. And we heard this from a lot of the players during the press conference. There wasn't a lack of effort. There wasn't a lack of enthusiasm, lack of motivation. It really wasn't anything about that. It is just looking at the execution, cleaning that up, and then getting ready for week 4 because the 49ers will be back at home and welcome in the Patriots in week 4.
Yeah, the Niners had several key players sidelined for this matchup, but Lindsay, how did you see the team adjust in week 3?
Yeah, I think it's very much a next man up mentality always when you're missing some key players. And I think for the 49ers who were without George Kittle, without Christian McCaffrey, who's on IR, without Deebo Samuel, who's sidelined for a couple weeks with a calf strain, you saw people rise the ranks. And, I think Jauan Jennings is certainly someone that is very much appreciated by the 49ers faithful, by the team. He's earned that nickname Third and Jauan for a reason. But he put up a career game against the Rams, and that's something that I think should not get lost in this loss. 11 catches for 175 yards, 3 touchdowns, a career first for him, both in yards and scoring. So a huge congratulations to Jauan Jennings. Caught nearly every pass thrown his way, and was absolutely, I would say, the offensive MVP along with Brock Purdy yesterday. And we just saw that he very much rose to the occasion in his first start of the year. I think one of the cool tweets that I saw out on X yesterday was that Jauan Jennings had 2 regular season touchdowns in all of 2023. So he surpassed that in one game. 3 touchdowns yesterday. And, it was contested catches. It was touchdown receptions. It was, big conversions. He had a little bit of everything. Obviously, great passes thrown by Brock Purdy, but just someone I definitely wanted to highlight coming out of this week 3 matchup.
Absolutely. Even with a tough loss, there was some really standout performances from the 49ers. Brock Purdy had an impressive 3-touchdown game, again, despite missing key offensive weapons. Lindsay, what did you learn from the quarterback after his week 3 performance?
I think this is a great example of Brock Purdy is an incredibly talented elite quarterback. We will say it again, missing 3 of the biggest offensive playmakers for the 49ers, in recent history. And he posted his second 100-plus passer rating game of the season, led a really efficient, productive offense. I think there were certainly opportunities there that he created. The 49ers were able to score on 5 of their 9 offensive series. So a lot of good things from Brock Purdy, and obviously that connection with Jauan Jennings, absolutely on fire yesterday. Jauan Jennings, I think he had 12 targets, caught 11 of those passes. So certainly the hot hand was Jauan Jennings. And then, Brock Purdy also leaned on Jordan Mason to take care of the ground game. He also delivered. So yeah, huge congratulations to Brock Purdy as well. I think this was a really good showing from the quarterback. And still you hear him in his post game press conference just say, I want to be better. I can be better. Just such a humble person that's always looking to improve his game. But definitely one of the highlights of the 49ers offense yesterday.
Yeah, and we can sing Jauan Jennings' praises after this game, his standout game with 11 catches and 3 touchdowns in each and every way. Lindsay, tell me about how he's worked up to this career high performance.
I think Jauan Jennings has always had this. The opportunity definitely was there yesterday with, so many guys out. This was his first start of the 2024 season. He took that opportunity, he ran with it, and he over delivered. This is exactly what the 49ers needed from him in week 4. So yeah, I mean, and then Jauan Jennings always is a huge impact when it comes to blocking. He's one of the best blocking wide receivers this team has. And we hear about that a lot because he's physical. And that's exactly the brand of 49ers football that, they pride themselves on. So he can do a little bit of everything. He was the hot hand yesterday. And you can just see that he's been building on that chemistry, that connection with Brock Purdy over the past 3 seasons. You saw the fruits of that labor yesterday against the Rams.
Yeah, one other highlight from the defensive side of the ball was all-pro safety Talanoa Hufanga's return. He had his first game back from his ACL tear recovery. How has his return brought a new energy to the Niners defense?
I think this is a long awaited return, not just for the defensive side of the ball, but the team as a whole. He brings an energy that the 49ers very much welcome. He's a hype man on the defense. I think he's just a great locker room guy. And obviously going through a significant ACL injury. It ended his season in 2023. See him working back and finally complete the comeback is always a great way to uplift your team. And he brought a lot of energy yesterday, 7 tackles against the Rams. And I think the coolest showing really was his very first defensive snap. He goes and gets the tackle. It's as if no time has passed. Obviously, you have to work your way back up as with any injury, but I think a good first outing for Talanoa Hufanga was playing alongside Jair Brown yesterday, but definitely more good things to come. This is just obviously the first game back for him.
And finally, Lindsay, you gave us a glimpse into sort of what the tone was like from the team after the game, but what was the message that the team shared following that week 3 game against the Rams?
I think one of the great things about this team is that they're very introspective and always hold themselves accountable. And I think that was the theme of all the players that we heard from. And like I mentioned, that it wasn't about, not having a good practice week or not having the motivation or running out of steam. It really was just about cleaning up the execution. The talent is there. They know what they have to do. So no one has lost hope by any means. And they know what they need to do to get right. And now it's just about doing it and moving forward. And we've seen this team handle a bunch of adversity in the offseason. We've seen it happen in recent seasons. They always find a way to bounce back. So I would definitely feel optimistic still about this team moving forward. No one in that locker room is freaking out. So now it's on to the next.
Yeah, we're looking ahead to week 4 at home against the Patriots now, but that will do it for today's episode. Subscribe to First and 10 presented by Cisco for more 49ers updates and turn on the notifications for any breaking news, Move the Chains episodes. Thanks for tuning in.